You know what? I don't think I'm going to mess with this anymore. I'm not going to paint the little red things on the top of the life ring like I was talking about yesterday. And I'm not going to try and touch up the vents. I think a normal viewing distance, it looks actually quite good. Even when you zoom in a little bit, it looks quite good. I'll just zoom in here a bit. Yeah, I think I'm better off just leaving well enough alone and just do the other 8 boats, much the same way. Now, I'll be the first to admit that once we put the macro lens on and start looking close up, well, yeah, then we're going to start seeing stuff that's wrong. But I'm going to, like I say, I'm just going to leave well enough alone here. However, there is something I'm going to do here right now. And that is I'm going to see if I can't pare down my my fine-tipped paintbrush, which is no longer fine-tipped. I think I've mentioned at least twice before I ruined it when I was cleaning out the nozzle of the airbrush. And I'm thinking that possibly I can trim this down, cut those frayed ends off the end of it, and I can't lose. It's kind of useless right now. You remember yesterday it wasn't doing a very good job on these things here. Well, I guess half of it was the paintbrush, the other half was me. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Now I think the first thing I want to do here is cut off the, those bent, frazzled ends. Like I say, I've got nothing to lose here, right? Okay. Now, let's get rid of a lot of these extra, I don't know what you call them, hairs? This may not be the right way of going about it, but I think if I was to get them to splay out like this, it'd be sort of easier to, kind of divide them, if you know what I mean. Okay, now let's go at an angle here. Like I say, maybe I'll do this a little different so you can see it better. Okay, trying to get it to splay out. Okay. I'll turn it half a turn here. Do it this way. And we should just end up with just a few hairs on the point. That's the plan. Okay. Now, let's see what happens now when we wet that, if it gets nice and pointy, because it wasn't before. Now, I was thinking afterwards that maybe I should just take another paintbrush here and comb these out and just check for stragglers. Maybe I could find a stiffer brush. The bristles on this larger brush don't seem to be working their way in like a comb, although it did help quite a bit. Okay, this brush is a little bit stiffer. Don't know if it's going to work any better. Oops. I've accidentally bumped the device I was using to hold it. You know, I think that's going to be pretty good. Let's give that a try. Okay, as long as we're going to try it, let's try it on the real thing. I think I made it worse. The reason being is the paint is drying. Let me take another sample here. The paint is drying on the tip. Well, that was not a good idea. I think about the only thing I can do to fix that is cut that tip off. So there's more hairs down there at the end. It was actually going easier the other way. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave everything set up the way it is, and I'm going to just sort of snip the end off and make it a little bit blunter. Now, before I take another sample of paint, I just want to show you what I did there. Okay, for this application, I would say this is working a lot better. Now, let's not mess around with it. Let's just make a little white dot here, so this shows up. A little white dot here. Now at normal viewing distance, that'll show up quite nice. Okay, and let's try it on the seats. Okay, this is our mixture of gray and green and yellow. And this little seat right here is somewhat smaller. Oh, I made a mess. Got it on the stairs. Okay, I'll retouch up those stairs with brown later. Well, it went somewhat better. The brown is showing through here, though. Right there. I don't know if I should maybe try and pool some just right on the top of the seat there. I'll see what happens. Now, I think if I'm smart, I'm going to just leave my camera in the other room and get the rest of these boats done. Do them sort of mass production, like, do all the green seats and all the white, and then, anyway, be systematic. It should go pretty fast, actually. And when I don't need to worry about having the camera seeing it, I can angle everything just right. It might actually go a little better. We'll see. Anyway, yesterday I was thinking, when's Halloween? Suddenly I realized it's in 2 days. and I don't have anything to hand out to the kids tomorrow night, so I gotta go to the store. Now I can either go tomorrow or today, and I think I'm gonna go today because right now the weather isn't too bad. Yeah, I guess maybe because I'm getting older, I don't like to drive when the weather's bad. Yeah, not that I can't, I just don't like to. Okay, I've got all the green and the white on all 9 of the little models here, little ships, and or lifeboats. And there are several places where I have to go around with the brown. Like the white really ran here on this particular life saver, and or life ring, and there's a couple of other places too that I have to go touch up with the brown. And but I want to give this a couple of hours to completely cure so that I don't have to worry about it running together. But in the meantime, I've taken a piece of sprue here and I've dipped it into the yellow. Remember yesterday, after the yellow had hardened on the end of the pipette, the hot soapy water here, it didn't want to work. At least it didn't dissolve what had dried. So I'm going to do another experiment. And the reason I'm doing this is because one of the viewers suggested Windex in yesterday's comments, and that's not the first time people have told me about Windex that might work. So yeah, I want to give it a try here. I'm going to take my hair dryer. This is only maybe half dry, and just sort of force dry it. And in about half an hour, we'll put it in some Windex, and we'll see what happens. Okay, there's one little spot right here where it doesn't look like it's dry, and it feels a little bit sticky, but it's not coming off on my finger. The rest of it I think is dry, where it wasn't too thick. But on the other hand, if you remember yesterday, not all of the pipette was dry either, just a little bit of it. So let's find ourselves a little test tube and, yeah, do an experiment. No, we don't need very much here. Maybe a little more. I only have 5 windows in this house. Well, I guess 6 if you count the one in the door. Okay, now we'll just drop it in. Hey, you know what? It's dissolving it already. I'll zoom in here and I'll show you. It probably took me about 5 minutes to switch lenses here, so it has been sitting in there for about 5 minutes. Maybe not quite. Anyway, yeah. We'll see what happens by tomorrow morning. It's not that late here today, but it's almost 2:30. I think we'll call this video quits because there isn't a whole lot much more I can do here until my white and green dries properly, but Windex works, at least on acrylic paint. Might work on others too, I don't know. Yeah. So to those viewers, thanks for the suggestion. Now there's one more thing I want to try tomorrow. I believe that Tony has at least twice suggested I use the end of a toothpick if I want to apply just a very minute amount of paint on something. He's mentioned that he used that to do the instruments on an aircraft. So, you know, and I've seen pictures of model aircraft that have had that done, and all it is just a little dab of white appropriately around the black dial, and it actually looked quite realistic unless you stuck a macro lens on. So anyway, I want to try that tomorrow, but that's going to have to be tomorrow. It is after 3 right now here in Winnipeg, and yeah, so thanks for watching, and all being well, we will see you tomorrow.